Too lazy to change position here. Come on, resting. Feels good. I was just thinking about something. I was watching an old video with Steve Jobs, and another guy who right now is kind of a well-known investor, podcaster type dude, Jason Cal. I don't know how to say his last name. Calcanis, something like that. I don't know. And he said, and it was on a little tweet. He said, "I miss Steve," and they showed a little video, and it was just some stupid little interaction between them, and it's cute, Just boy made a joke when he was younger, and Jobs has been gone for a while, and now he's kind of prominent in the podcasting world, and he suggested that I make a podcast. Actually, he told people to ask questions, try to give you his whatever answer he can, like it could be about anything. I said, how you get into investing? How do you get started in that world? And he was like, well, I started with a podcast, and that worked out for me. And he named a couple other people. And that actually might be a good idea. I think that's a good format for me, to be honest. Because I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. I'm a deep thinker. I'm a very deep thinker. I want to say very. See, very is a relative term. I might be very deep relative to other people, but like relative to like what I know I could be, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm not so deep. I feel like maybe I was you know, slacking a little bit. I think that's the thing. Like I'm always setting the bar for myself. It's like relative to people, yeah, I'm fucking flying by. Like I'm fucking the deepest thinker on earth right now. Relative to what I know I could be doing, it's like, yeah, okay, well, I might not be the deepest thinker on earth right now. I want to just assume that, I think there are some pretty deep thinkers, but relative to the general populace, yeah, I'm probably deeper than most. But I think clearly as well. I'm a clear thinker. Nah, but the thing is, now I'm watching that shit with Steve Jobs, and I see this Jason guy. I know what he's doing right now, and it seems like they might be somewhat just like maybe like one train minded, like with whatever mission they have. Like Steve Jobs was all into Apple and like Apple personal computer technology, but he got shit done. In doing so, uh, Jason is more like he's into investing and he's with these startups and shit. He seems like he's just trying to make money. Somebody that I like today is Elon. Elon's a fucking eclectic thinker. He's not just like fucking stuck on this one company or something. He's like, no, we're going to Mars. Two, we're fixing up planet Earth by fucking making this green revolution happen. Um, I mean, with EVs, electric vehicles, and now the solar city that they bought, Tesla bought, and they want to put fucking uh, solar arrays on people's houses and give them big old battery packs and shit, so they're all like self-sustaining. So he's like, he's thinking he fucking goes like he'll fucking reference like biological history, like millions of years. He understands the context of what is going on planet Earth. He's not just like, hey, like in this little small context of time with mankind, like I don't know, like and thinking let's do this thing right now that's relevant right now. No, he's thinking billions of years. He's thinking universal history type shit, and that's why I appreciate his perspective and what he's doing because he acts, in context of a bigger, longer term course of history, and so he wants to go to Mars. That's why I'm here. Actually, this is Port Isabel, and you can see the Starship launches right down the way. Um, so that's why I came down here. I want to be part of that history. So my point is, you have Steve Jobs, who seemed to be he's a good guy, and like I'm using this phone right now, this freaking Android phone. It's modeled after the first iPhone. I remember when that came out. I was like, holy shit, that's like the most boss shit. It was like Like you were the shit. Like if you bought a fucking iPhone, you had an iPhone like with that touchscreen flicking, and it was like, what the? That shit was the shit. Like as soon as it came out, that was like the top of the line shit. Like I was into cell phones before that shit. Actually, I was into my brother Justin. He always had like brand new technology. He had these pocket PCs and shit. Like he had BlackBerry and shit, but he had like a pocket PC with like what was it? Windows Pocket or some shit like that. I don't fucking remember. With these little stylus things. He actually hooked me up with one, and still got it somewhere. That was before the smartphone really came out, and that was what we had back then, and they had touchscreens and shit. Well, that was before the iPhone came out, and then the iPhone, everybody copied that, and that's what we got Android and stuff now for. I remember that. I was there. I went through that history. I remember before there was even cell phones, barely. Like my stepdad had a cell phone, it was like a little Nokia, kept it in his fucking shirt pocket, and we had landlines, and somebody calls a house phone. I remember before there was caller ID. Remember we got caller ID when it was brand new. And it was like, whoa, who's calling now? Now we can just like ignore them if we want to. Like before you had to answer the phone, you didn't know who it was. It was like, anybody's guess. And could have been a bill collector, could have been somebody you haven't heard from in a long time, could be somebody you're waiting for a call from, I don't know. And somebody to pick up the phone, and then they had to yell across the house, "Hey Keith, pick up the phone." Like, all right, got you. And then you pick up and they're still on there, and then they're like, okay, I got it. And then they fucking hang up. Hell yeah, I remember that shit, bro. Like that's old school. So yeah, I was here for a lot of technology. I remember before computers, we had internet. I remember AOL dial-up and shit, dude. And like the fucking the modem or whatever. Hell yeah, that shit was crazy. Are there people like creeping behind me? So what's going on? I hear noises back there, but I don't fucking see much of anything going on. I hate when I'm fucking recording a video and people just like fucking like start to encroach. Like I'm fucking trying to do this. Like they know like I don't want to like stop what I'm doing, so I can't like react to them. So they're like, oh look, we can start to encroach and get closer to him now. Like fucking piece of shit. I can pause this bitch. You know that, right? Throw a rock at your head. You better watch yourself. Anyway, now my point. Longer term thinking is part of the point. Bigger historical context. Let me pause that actually. Hold on. Fucking hate when people linger around and fucking got some people in the truck right behind me, fucking just sitting there like, do you really got to do that? Is there a reason? I think they feel the energy, like they know, like they can like sense it. Like I want to be part of that. That's interesting. Like whatever the fuck I'm talking about, whatever. They can feel the audience energy, like it's fucking annoying. Lingering fucks. They watch Pineapple Express. Linger. Like it's fucking some dude that was there for like 5 seconds to buy some shit. It's a funny ass fucking movie because it's so fucking true. I don't even want to get into it. Yeah, so what I was talking about was long term thinking. Long term thinking is good. Bigger context. I think that's a major part. Really, that's probably the most major part because it's kind of the difference between you doing something like really significant versus maybe just like, okay, I shouldn't even like say it like that. I mean, the iPhone and shit was significant. A lot of shit's significant, but some shit maybe is more significant. Like when you think long term. See, I like ideas. I like ideas that change the way people look at life and everything, and because that'll change the way they act, that'll change like what they decide to do with their lives. That's why I make videos and stuff and talk, and so I think a podcast would be good, because those different perspectives I feel like really can make people see things different. Like, one of my favorite things to do is like, well, this is like a little thing. I want to make like a sketch video, like sketch comedy video about this. But basically just like a little kid that like asks why to everything, his like mom or parent says, like it says, hey, put on your shoes. He says, why? Because we're going to the store. Why? So we get food. Why? So we can eat. Why? So we can survive. Why? And like right there, after like a couple rounds of why, they already had like an existential question. So we can survive. Why? It's like, good question. I don't know. It's like they have to question. It's like, I don't know, because we're biologically programmed to survive. Why? It's like, whoa. You know, just asking why a couple of times will take you right to something significant. You know, and I was gonna make a sketch comment about that. Like, you know, just kind of little kid just fucking blowing their parents' mind or something, just asking why, just some simple little task. Hey, wake up! Why? You gotta go to school. Why? So you can learn. Why? So you can do good things in life. Why? I don't know. You know, like you start to get somewhere really quick. But yeah, it makes people like just asking that question why. It makes people question why they're doing anything. It makes people question. You know, if you actually ask that, you might get to like these existential thoughts, like bigger context, and you might say like, "What the fuck am I doing this for?" And a lot of times, people at like the first round of why, you know what I mean? They're like, "Put on your shoes, why? So we can go to the store, why? So we get food." And you're like, "Okay," you know, like you don't even question past that. But like if you do questions past that, it'll take you maybe to a point, and that's what I where I'm always at, kind of like I'm always asking why. I'm always like, the heck do we exist for? What is like? I think about a lot of stuff. I really do. Um, and you know I like Elon because he has like a at least a general biological perspective on a lot of things, and you know he thinks about human evolution here on planet Earth. You know the long term survivability, stuff like that. That's just a bigger context generally. It's a practical context. He's like making moves to, I guess. See what the fuck is that shit, dude? That's the bread guy. I seen him in my review. Anyway, he's making moves to, I guess, hedge against future threats or anything like that. You know, any existential crises that might occur. You know, and I feel like that's what people should be thinking. You know, like long term survival thinking. Survival thinking is how people survive, dude. It's important. Damn, fucking people everywhere. I hate this shit. I can pause this though. Throw a rock at your head. Don't forget that shit. I'll do it if I got to. You cave people. Nah, let's be real. A lot of these people. I need to get in with like the smart thinkers, you know? The big thinkers. I'm tired of being around fucking. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just being honest. But a lot of people don't think barely. And it's like, I can't even have like a normal conversation with them. It's like, you try to like freak. It sucks. It sucks. A normal conversation to me is like, hey, what'd you think about going to Mars to try to, continue mankind for another couple thousand years or so at least, you know what I mean? And people like, what the fuck? What? I'm getting bread, you know, or like they want to talk about some stupid shit, like I don't know, some stupid pop culture thing or something. It's like, dude, I think about existential shit. That's why I love Elon Musk because he's kind of popular and he explains a lot of stuff and he explains it pretty well. And so a lot of people are kind of on that same page. So that's good. I feel like there's community building around, you know, his kind of philosophy because he's doing cool stuff. First of all, he has got a car company, all types of stuff, but he's also a good thinker. He's a good leader. He's a good proponent of long term survival thinking, and so that's why I think he's a badass. Like, you know, some people I've seen jealous people like they're like, man, you know, it's a freaking, it's just human, you know. It's like, yeah, it's just human, but he's a fucking smart human and he's a fucking responsible human. He's doing things, dedicating his life in ways he doesn't have to, you know. Like, there's fucking billions of people on Earth, and you don't see all of them fucking trying to, you know, building car companies and you know, he took initiative. He started these companies, started with an idea, ran with it, got the whole ball rolling, started like a movement, you know. That means something. That matters, you know. Like, um, yeah. So I like, you know, just his long term thinking. I think that's like the most important thing. And I see like Steve Jobs, you know, and he wasn't as long term a thinker. I just can tell he was, you know, thinking about personal computing like being this new emergent thing. And it's like that's cool. Oh, Steve Jobs was a good guy. Like I could tell he's a good. Or maybe he was an asshole behind the scenes and stuff. But you know, there's some things I like from him. You know, one of the quotes I like from him is that he says, you know, when you realize this whole world was created by people, you realize that you know you too can contribute and like you know he said something like you can push the walls and they'll move, you know, and like yeah, that's true, and I mean I've known that for a long time. Um, there's a you know I guess that has to do with like non-conformist conforming, being non-conforming, and thinking for yourself and being an innovator, stuff like that. So that's good. I love Steve Jobs. This dude Jason, he's cool. He's a cool dude, but he just looks like he's trying to make money. He's trying to be like just rich. Looks like that's like his main goal. I don't know. So it seems like he doesn't seem like he's long term thinking. He's not thinking about the survivability of mankind and stuff. Um, Other people actually. Jason is friends with Chamath, and Chamath thinks about long term stuff. He's an investor. He's been talking about global warming and how he can invest in certain companies to help, curb global warming, and just think about fucking A, dude. I'm about to punch somebody in the head. Who is it? Hold on. I don't know who just hung, but these guys behind me, I'm about to slap the shit out of them. Don't like to be an asshole, but yeah, it's kind of necessary sometimes. Seriously, if they fucking, why you parked behind me anyway? There's a whole fucking parking lot everywhere. Go somewhere else, you fucking annoying fucks. Sorry. I get annoyed sometimes. Forgive me. But it's necessary at times to let a motherfucker know they're being fucking stupid. Alright, anyway, back to my point. Long-term thinking, blah 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 blah. Yeah, long-term survivability thinking I think is like the most important. Like that's like the most important type of thinking, and that'll guide people in the best way I feel like for long-term survivability. You know what I mean? And so to me that's just obvious. Like, dude, duh. That's what Elon Musk is on. That's what he talks about. He mentions that. He's a good thinker. He's some people are just like these optimists. I have a feeling these motherfuckers gonna do something stupid again. I'm gonna have to go fucking really throw a rock at their head. I just like sense it. It's like they oh my gosh. I can sense it. I'm about to throw a rock at their head. Hold on. I was right. They were about to do something, but it was just that they were about to leave. They were breaking, about to leave. I could sense the energy. And then the motherfucking brake guy back here fucking left too, so it's all good. Anyway, long-term survivability thinking. Elon, like I was saying, some people are like these fucking optimist motherfuckers, like they just like think about the positive without thinking about any negative. Elon's more like really like they're about to do a fucking test launch of this serial number 10. He says it's about 66% chance. Like that's what he said, 60% chance. It's like, so he's like realistic, and he thinks about negatives, and he said it in multiple interviews. Like, he's like basically, just think of all the ways you can fail. Like, and that's really the best way. Like, really, with survivability thinking, like that's the most important thing. You have to think of like, how should I say it? Like unidentified dangers are the most dangerous thing, because they, you're just going about your life and all of a sudden you freaking fall off a cliff or something, and that leads to catastrophe. And so if you want to avoid catastrophe, what do? You identify those things beforehand. And so you got to think of all these negatives. You got to think of all the liabilities and things like that. And that's just good thinking. That's, like I said, survivability, brain thinking. I just understand this stuff. Like I don't even know where I understand it from. I study nature a lot. I'm also like a competitive guy. Like I like playing sports and stuff, and it's like strategy. Like I don't know, like you play chess. I used to play chess when I was younger. I don't know, stuff like that. But yes, I mean I know how important it is. Like an unidentified liability. While you're going about with your optimist, eternal hoping everything's gonna work out, like, if there's something you don't see coming, it's like, dude, like, no, it's just really staying on top, and it's survival. You have to survive. You have to avoid any catastrophic turn of events or anything like that, you know what I mean? And it takes, you have to look around. You have to think. You can't just be like, la da 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 da, everything's all good, positive attitude. Like, it's gonna, I mean, you got a positive attitude and jump into a volcano. Is that gonna save you? Like, like that's naivety in my opinion sometimes. I mean, to accomplish anything, you have to have like self-belief, like believe that you can accomplish it. So there's like optimism in that. But you don't just like falsely believe everything's all good. It's like, what the heck? Like, y'all like crazy. Like, oh, I remember I saw this dude on YouTube, like he was like, he really believed he had like a chi energy force field. And he told this dude, he's like, I tried to punch me. And the dude's like, are you sure? And he's like, try it. And like, sure enough, he sat there like thinking he had chin, like, and the dude just like slapped him. It's like, that dude really thought that. Like, you could tell this dude was really like, try it. It's like, you freaking moron, bro. Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. It's funny. It's like delusional almost. Like, you can have a state of optimism that's like kind of delusional at times. If you just ignore the dangers, the real obvious dangers, like, dude, y'all are not even in reality, man. Something that's crazy. That's very crazy in my opinion. Um. So yeah. I like Elon as an example, but I like a lot of other thinkers. I like long-term thinkers. I like principle thinking, which means they get down to like the fun. Oh, actually, that's what Elon says. He says he's a first principles thinker. He talks about like physics and stuff, getting down to the root. I like Steve Jobs for the non-conformist type thing. Um, and basically saying you can do some new stuff that's never been done. Like, don't worry about what the world tries to tell you or anything like that. Um, I feel like I was talking about this the other day. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to charge my phone at the same time I'm recording, and like this wire is kind of funky, so it might be like dying as I'm recording, so it might just turn off randomly. It's a liability. I'm aware of it, but trying to negate that. Anyway, I was thinking about this the other day. Kids usually are like brand new to the world, and if you don't like indoctrinate them and tell them this is the way everything is, they're just free thinking, and like they already have that type of nonconformist attitude. They just think for themselves, like, oh, like if you don't like try to train them or train them into certain thought patterns. And so that's good. So I think really it's just a matter of preserving that. Neil deGrasse Tyson said something like that. He said like, all kids are little scientists, as long as you just don't, beat it out of them. So that's good, protecting that type of thinking. And I like that. And first principles thinking, thinking first principles, I guess. I mean, it's kind of along the same lines. And that's why. So I was saying I like principle thinking. I like people that get down to like the fundamentals of things and really work from that standpoint. That's why I like that little thing I was talking about, like asking why, like a little kid, why? Put on shoes, why? You gotta go to school, why? So you can learn, why? So you can be smarter, why? So you can do good things in the world, why? Good question. You know what I mean? Like it's just a matter of a couple whys that will get you somewhere. Anyway, yeah. So I guess the whole point of this was, I'm seeing Steve Jobs and the guy who's now like a podcaster and stuff. And like I can just tell. I can tell like what Steve Jobs was. He was kind of all about the personal computing revolution and stuff, which is cool. It's a lot more than a lot of people do. And then this guy Jason, he's kind of he seems like he's just an investor trying to get rich. Then I see like Elon. He's talking about like evolutionary history of mankind. He's talking about leap from Earth to Mars might be more significant than life going from the ocean to land. Like I've seen interviews. He's talking about like there's been like 6 major steps in the like biological history of the planet, and that's bigger thinking. It could be bigger stuff even. But he's definitely thinking big. I remember he said something like, if there is a inevitable heat death of the universe, then it really is all about the journey. And I've thought about that too in the past. Like that's existential thinking. That's like dang, like um, it just is. Actually, from what I understand, Elon like he started reading. I think he read like some of these philosophers, like Nietzsche and stuff, and he said it was like kind of negative and dark. He read that like when he was young. He said it was like existential crisis type thing going on. And then he said he read what was it called, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and he said that kind of like changed his perspective and like made him because the answer to the universe was 42, but they didn't know what the question was. So he's like, all right, so you got mankind has to last long enough to ask the right questions to figure this stuff out. And so that's his whole goal, is like prolonging mankind and stuff. And but before that, he might have been on some existential like, what the heck is it all for type stuff. That's the thing. And so that's a natural evolution of this thought process, like I'm talking about. Like right now, we don't have the answers. Existential stuff is just like we don't know. Um, but maybe prolonging life will allow people to figure out the questions they need to ask to really get some answers and better gear themselves in whatever way they can with universal processes, whatever. People might figure out like what we're actually doing here, what we're supposed to be doing, stuff like that. or it might just create better goals, like I said, in a bigger context and stuff. So it's all kind of in the same thing. And Elon's a great example of that. Like he probably went from being existential, like what the heck are we doing, and then he's like, all right, well, here's what we can do: prolong human life until we figure out what we're doing. Um, that's just, I mean, that's a good idea for now, and that's what we're doing. We're still trying to figure it out, and that's why I kind of go at the existential thinking, because it's like, okay, so if we're gonna prolong life to figure it out, why? Well, I guess we should be figuring it out right now. Like we don't just like stave that off for the next generation. I mean, there is collective knowledge that grows when we have more and more insight, but we have a lot of knowledge with a lot of science and stuff. So I kind of go at it with biological thinking. I like Darwin's theory of evolution, natural selection stuff. I think that gives a real good insight to life on Earth, at least. And I look at that, the whole biological process, I call it the fire of life. And then I think about the whole universe, that's called like the universal organism, that's like morphing and transforming and stuff. And but I don't know where that came from, And but I try to go at it with these existential thoughts, because like if we're gonna prolong life for people to figure stuff out, it's like, well, somebody's gonna have to actually do that work of figuring stuff out now. And there is a collective progress. There is more knowledge that comes, that probably will come along the way. And then, people have more insight, and it might allow them to see something people didn't see before. That's where we are now relative to the past. So, I mean, that's kind of inevitable. But for now, I guess I've been working with what we got and trying to figure things out. That's what it is. I like the bigger perspectives. And I think actually, I was just talking about this the other day doing a podcast. I think that'll be like a major thing, like a theme, is like kind of talking to people that have their specific work that they're trying to do, whatever it is, and then kind of putting it in that bigger context, and kind of talking about just like existentialism and kind of asking why, like, making people maybe with the work they're doing question why they're doing it and put it in that context and see if it's actually worthwhile, maybe, maybe really there could be people that are like, doing things in life and like they got this whole mission in life, and I might just make them question why they're doing it, and they might rethink their whole life and, change it up or something. And just that, I feel like, is a process of making things more efficient, Like, if you question why you're doing something and you realize, like, it's kind of stupid, and then you change it up something better, it's like, okay, well, we just improved your mission in life, Like, And I think that's a good thing. So I think that'd be, like, a major theme with the podcast I want to make. Like talking to whoever, because I'm interested in all the progress and stuff. And I just think it's a good thing to put in that bigger context and make people question what they're doing, and really just from a conversationalist standpoint, it's I think a good thing for the audience and everybody to think in that bigger context. Because like I said, it'll make people do in that bigger context. And yeah, I like the big thinkers. I do. I like that stuff. A lot of people, they're just simple. A lot of people are simple, like animals almost. Like, I like people that actually think and question existence and stuff, and then do big things, like they've thought about things and they're like, oh, you know what, here's what I should do. Boom. Like Elon's a great example, It's whatever. Sitting at a Walmart, you ever seen like those people at Walmart videos? It's like I'm getting that vibe, and that's why I'm like thinking like relative to. I'm like, man, these ain't the people, like, man, that's crazy. Yeah, so I'm more into like bigger stuff, like thinking and stuff. I do think existentially and big stuff, like that. I'm not sure some of these people around me do too much of that type of thinking, but probably think about donuts and coffee and I don't know, who knows what else they're thinking about. I have no idea. I don't even want to like put myself in a position to think about what they're thinking. That's crazy. Yeah, so at least I guess if I do a podcast thing, it'll be something that people, I don't know, the more people talk about stuff, the more it spreads around, I guess. So that's good. That's pretty funny to me. Yeah, I think it needs to be more of that. More of that. I think the conversation format's good too, because I'm just like talking right now. Yeah, I mean, it's alright, but like when you have a conversation, like you actually see somebody else that's receptive, and then people are bouncing ideas back and forth. It's like you see that, you're like, damn, these people are both on that level. And like, I don't know, it kind of, I feel like it compels people to maybe get in and understand what's going on. They don't want to be out of the loop, you know. So I think that conversation list format's good. It's good. I'm not gonna lie, kind of maybe affects people in a peer pressure type way, and makes them say, hey, maybe I wanna learn about these guys talking about. Like, what are they talking about? Something like you see some people laughing, and you're like, what are they laughing about? I want to know. You want in on the joke. You want in on whatever's going on. So I think that might help people start to think more. Um, bigger stuff, bigger conversations about bigger stuff, and I think that'd be good, for mankind. And it's also just about humanity. It's about just existence, just all together. Like here we are, and maybe just appreciating it, and maybe just appreciating the planet, and maybe making a sustainable system, and just vibing and appreciating it as it is. Like maybe we don't have to do so much. Maybe we just appreciate this and really. If you look at it, it really is. It's pretty nice. Like life is pretty crazy. It's like just from a cellular level, the complexity and diversity and everything. It's pretty insane. So maybe like looking inward toward the already existing creation, is some people could do a lot too. So I mean, I'm into that stuff, So it is what it is. Um, with that being said, man, I just kind of was thinking about that. Just I don't know. Steve Jobs, and I see a lot of big thinkers. They're bigger than other people, but then I see people that are bigger thinkers than maybe those people, and I like the big thoughts, like existential, like the heck, like I question the role of even intelligence in the universe. I'm like life started before there was any consciousness, as far as we know. Maybe like any like biological consciousness like ourselves, because the universe had to exist before life forms were created. And so like how'd that get going, and then eventually turn into conscious intelligent organisms? Like what, like where did that, how is that just part of the universal function? Like, and what role does it have? What happens with when you extrapolate that process of evolution in the universe? Like where does it go? Stuff like that. Big questions, bigger questions, probably even bigger questions than that. And yeah, so it is what it is. Anyway, thankfully I didn't have to throw a rock in anybody's head. That's good. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll talk to y'all later. Just some food for thought for the moment. So it is what it is. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm out.